So there are one hot day, very hot. I can't take the heat these days.
It's not just drought, because with drought comes other things. And so we had pests, that newer pests that we weren't used to controlling before. Things like stem borer that had an impact on the cane quality.
Well, everything just happened in a split second, big man. This was an unbelievable storm. I never seen a storm do so much damage to the bay in all my life living around here.
These are just a few of the experiences shared by our locals that are as a result of climate change. Experiences that have impacted their everyday lives. For them and many residents, it is difficult to adapt.
Adaptation is the process of adjusting to the actual or the expected effects of a changing climate and its effects, and it actually seeks to reduce vulnerability of social, environmental, and economic systems and to decrease damage. In many cases, the young and the old are more at risk because they tend to rely on others for their daily activities, and they may have more health risks. There are also people in remote or rural areas and the poor, and sometimes indigenous people who are more at risk because they don't have the capacity to adapt to changes, like people who may have more resources do.
To help with the risks of inundation, flooding, storm surges, erosion, and more, the National Meteorological Service, whose experts monitor these dynamic patterns, helps with preparedness.
The main function of the National Meteorological Service of Belize is to provide alerts and warnings to the general public on any aspect related to climate and weather and hazards that may affect the country. We have other subsidiary roles, such as ensuring the protection of the environment and contributing to the social economic development of the country. We do this through providing specialized services to different sectors such as aviation, agriculture, marine, tourism, energy, and the likes.
The above-normal hurricane season has been increasing over the past decade, and it is expected to intensify. For that reason, there is need for adaptation measures in place for the most vulnerable.
Building resilience requires a clear vision of what is needed by communities, and it requires the resources of both local government and central government. Vulnerable communities also need to keep in mind that it's not necessary to be an expert to implement adaptation measures. They can take initiative and implement their own actions. For example, you can start a green space for communities. You can reclaim an unused area and make that into a green space for the community. You can also promote local food production and build resilience, and these will all help build the capacities of local communities.
There are several adaptation measures which are being implemented. The most recently completed was a comprehensive and integrated agroforestry policy, which is aimed at increasing the resilience of farmers. A multi-sectoral national adaptation plan is also being developed to look at the impact on various sectors. The NCCO helps with the coordination of climate change-related projects and adaptation efforts by offering technical expertise.
The Marine Conservation and Climate Adaptation Project, and this was fisheries and coastal zone oriented or marine resources oriented. The Belize Rural Project, which is an agriculture project which looks at building the resilience of smallholder farmers in Belize. In the tourism sector, one of the recent initiatives is the Sustainable Tourism Program, or STP2, and this looked at increasing revenue and income and employment opportunities within the tourism sector and the promotion of disaster and climate resilience and environmental sustainability in different tourism destinations.
There are various examples of adaptation measures that can be implemented to safeguard the vulnerable against the current and future impacts of climate change. Adaptation is acknowledging vulnerabilities and strengthening mechanisms to improve your resiliency.